Hi Stampers, it's Chlo here from Chlo's Craft Closet. Today I'm bringing a card that I've made for the detailed floral Thinlits. It's a super quick card. These Thinlits are absolutely stunning. Doesn't seem to matter what colour your cardstock is. They come out fantastic each time. Today I'm using a Whisper White and our Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. And honestly, it doesn't do it any justice on this video. In real life, it is so sparkly and elegant. Would be perfect for a wedding card. I'm going to show you how to make this card today. So let's get started. Okay, so now usually my card base is the general Australian metric size, which is 4 inches by 5.5. But today I'm actually making it a little bit bigger because our floral Thinlits are a little bit bigger. So this card base is 4 1/8 by 11 3/4. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just fold this in half, give it a little bit of a, make the crease nice and crisp with our bone folder. And we're going to use our Whisper White cardstock, which is going to be just a little bit smaller, 1/8 smaller. So it's 4 inches by 5 3/4. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our precision plate on our Big Shot to run it through with our dies. Now, here are our beautiful Thinlits. They come, you get 3 little pieces with our Thinlits. So you get, there's the other one. So you get the big piece, which is, that's the back of it. And then a slightly smaller one, which if you actually have a look, if I turn it around, you can see they're actually a mirror image of each other. Big flower, little flower, leaf, leaf. And now this little guy, he actually fits around, oh, if I turn him this way, around the outside. So you can cut them out completely and have one beautiful piece. And Stampin' Up is so clever because this piece actually matches the top one too. See? So they're a mirror image of each other. But we're not going to use this little piece today. I want my cardstock to stay as a whole. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our precision platform, which is our precision plate. This is fantastic, guys. Detailed Thinlits, detailed framelits. You really need this plate. It has the instructions on the back of how you want to put it together, but you're actually going to use the black part. Okay, so not the label part, the black part. As you can see, I made that mistake a couple of times and there's a couple of butterflies on there. Oops, silly me. Anyway, so this is the piece we're going to use. And we grab Mr. Big. Oh, here he is. And what we do is we do away, oh, he's locked into place. We do away with one of our plates. So we keep all our tabs closed. We put our precision plate in and he's well used. Look at that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to line up our Thinlits. Now I want a little bit of a border around the outside, both sides. So the same up here, a little bit of the border, plate on, and we're going to run him through. However, I've already done that job for us. So over here is our, oh, she says, where did I put that piece? Ah, here it is. I knew I had him somewhere. Okay, so this is how it comes out. Now you can see most of the pieces have already dropped out using the plate, but there are still a few little pieces more. So I'm going to get our beautiful little brush, our die brush. I'll move it that way, you can see it. And all you do is you use your foam mat that comes with it. I tend to use it upside down, and you're just going to run your little brush all over your die. And as you can see, all the pieces come out. So I'll just do a few more bits here and there. There we go, turn him around. Do this side. This little thing is just brilliant. I mean, it's so much fun to do and it's so therapeutic. Okay, so there we go. Oh, there's a few more bits in just the little flower. So once you've got all your bits and pieces out, we're just going to move this out the way. I'm just going to get all the rest out, all the little bits. Makes the hoovering lots of fun, or should I say vacuum cleaning, as I'm here in Australia. We tend to vacuum more than we hoover. Okay, so now all we're going to do with the card is we're going to use our glue dots to stick this little guy over the top of our Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer. Now, our Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer comes in 12 by 12 pieces. You get 2 sheets. And I've cut this one down to be exactly the same size as the Whisper White cardstock. So it's 4 inches by 5 3/4. So on the back of my floral die, I'm going to use our glue dots. Now, a lot of people tend to pick the glue dots off and put them onto the cardstock. I find it so much easier. Oh, she says as she drops it, if I put the glue dots on the back of the paper. So we're just going to run that along. One there. Oh, I didn't get that one. One there. And one there. Now, the next thing we want to do, because I've only put a bit there, this will make this a little bit flappy. So we're going to look for some spots where there's a lot of white, and that's where we're going to put a glue dot. Now, if you find that you can't quite line up your glue dots to the spots that you want them to go with, what you can do is use the good old Stanley blade, scoop it off like so, and then just stick it on. And this way you can also fold them up a little bit. Oh, that bit's still stuck. Fold them up a little bit if you need to. So I'm going to put one there, and I might put another one just there. And I think that looks like I can fit another one just here. There we go. Okay, so now all we've got to do is line up the edges of our glimmer. And our cardstock, like so. And there's your main card. Okay, so here you go. So what we're going to do now is just stick this onto our crumb cake base. And then we can move on to making the little embellishments, the little elements. So I'm going to grab a piece of tear tape. And like I said before, you guys, if you want to use all the sides, tape all the sides, you can. I like to just do the 2 big ones. Make sure your card opens the right way, always a good thing to check. And then we should have a very, very little border. Stick our card on. And there you go. Beautiful, look how pretty it looks, just like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our butterflies and our sentiment. Now, the big vellum butterfly is actually using our bold butterfly die. So you're going to need a piece of vellum that's 2.5 by 3.5. And the bold butterflies framelits, here they are here, you actually have a negative of the big one, and then a little, what I call the skeleton of a little one. So we're going to use our big one today. And all we're going to do is with our vellum is we're just going to run that guy through the big shot. You don't need the precision plate for that one, so I will just run it through with the normal plates. Okay, so as I run that through, I do happen to have one pre-done. So here's our big vellum butterfly. Now all he's going to do, we're going to leave him natural. I wanted him just to stay like that. I like the softness of him. But we're now going to add a crumb cake Papillion pot puree butterfly. So this is our Papillion pot puree stamp set. All these beautiful butterflies. So they all have a punch. There's the big bold butterfly, the elegant butterfly punch for the big one. And then there's the little itty bitty butterfly punch for the small one. We're going to use this little guy. He is my favourite. I use him all the time. He's a bit like a monarch butterfly that we used to get in the gardens in England. So he's probably my most used one. And all we're going to do is we're just going to mount him on our block. We're going to ink him up in our crumb cake. Give him a good ink. And we're just going to stamp him onto our piece of crumb. Now our crumb that we've got today is just a scrap piece which is 2 inches by 2 inches. So a nice 2-inch squared one. And then all we're going to do is get our elegant butterfly punch. And we're just going to line the little guy up. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. Punch him out. There we go. There's our little butterfly. And we are just going to glue dot him to our piece of vellum. So bring in the glue dots. Glue dot him. Turn up his wings a little bit. Give them a little bit of a shape so he looks like he's flying. And we're just going to stick him in the middle of our vellum piece, like so. Now, the other thing we want to add to our vellum butterfly before we stick him on is a piece of our Blushing Bride sequin trim. I love this stuff. Isn't it pretty? So sparkly, and it just adds the perfect little finishing touch. So I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of our vellum. And then I'm just going to loop my sequins over. I've got a bit of a loop at the top and some tails at the bottom. I'm now going to use that glue dot to attach them to there, like so. Now I might put another glue dot on with the sequins just to keep them in place. And then also that's how we're going to stick. Oh, it stuck to my finger. It's a bit cold in my craft room today, so my glue dots seem to be sticking to me more than everything else. Again, stick him on there. Oh, stop sticking to my finger, glue dot. I'm going to put one more just underneath just to keep the two together. Okay, there we go. Made it in the end. All right, so there's our little butterfly loop with his little tails. And all we're going to do is we're just going to put that at an angle onto our card, like so. There we go, almost done. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is our sentiment. Now, on my card, you can see it's actually a embossed white sentiment. So you're going to need your Versamark ink pad, your white embossing powder, and we're also going to be using the sentiment that's from the Floral Phrases. Now, the detailed Floral Thinlits and the Floral Phrases can be bundled together, guys, so you can get the two with a discount, which is ideal. There's some beautiful little sentiments here. I love this flower and the border. I've made lots of cards with this. We're going to use this sentiment, a special note of thanks to you. So I'm going to grab my sentiment out. Now I'm going to line up my block on my grid paper, and then I'm going to line up my sentiment. Hopefully I didn't get my head in the way. I tend to get my head in the way when I'm trying to do something close up. And we're going to get a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock, which is 3/8 wide by 3 3/4 long. We're going to ink up the Versamark. And then, like I said, always line everything up on your grid so that you can try and get it as straight as possible. And I'm going to stamp. Oh, I think, let me have a little look. I think we might have to do that one again. Uh-oh. Lucky paper's two-sided. Let's have a look. Oh, yes, that one's much better. Okay, so can't really tell for sure until we've got the embossing powder on it. So I'm going to grab the embossing powder. Just check. Oh, no, I've dropped it now. I don't know which side is which. Okay, I think it was that side. And we're going to pour powder all over. There we go. Tap him off. Give him a bit of a flick. Get all that excess off. I'm going to move the powder over to the other side. All right, guys, so I'm going to work off camera for this one just because the heat gun's so loud. I don't want to deafen you all. So I'm just going to heat it up until it turns a nice bright white and melts all that powder. Oh, almost there, a little bit more, just make sure I get the ends. Alrighty. Okay, and there we go, there's our sentiment. So, bring our card back in. And all I've done to attach it is I've put a bit of foam mount on this end and a glue dot in the middle. So I've actually used the edge of our foam mount. Try and grab one out of here. I love using the edges of foam mount. Now, this is our foam mount. It all comes with lots of little hexagons, as you can see. Now, usually you would use the middle pieces, but I'm going to, let's see, I want it up this end. So you want it up the end where it says to you, and then I'm going to add a glue dot to the other end so that that's going to get, there we go, that's going to get stuck on the middle of our card, on our butterfly. We're just going to stick that down, make it nice and straight. And there you go. Voila, all done. And we have, that's the card. This is the original. How fantastic is that? Super easy, super fast to make. Doesn't take any time at all. And those Thinlits really are gorgeous, guys. All right, well, that's enough from me today. Thanks so much for popping in. Like I said, all the details are on my blog of what I've used as well as the measurements if you didn't catch it. Head on over to Chlo's Craft Closet. And I hope to see you again soon one day. Thank you. Bye.